Hello, this is Edmund Shing from BCS Asset Management. Today we're going to look at some value plays in the stock market. So we're going to look at the technology sector, financial services, and we're going to look at energy. We could look at healthcare as well, which I like, but we don't have time this time around. Technology. Microchip Technologies in the semiconductor sector announced a recent profit warning and mentioned a correction industry-wide that was starting. Not only did microchip technology fall 15%, as you can see on this chart, but the whole semiconductor sector, represented by the SMH ETF, fell 10% on the back of these comments. That gives us the value opportunity. What we see here on page 5 is that investment in both equipment and software in the US is accelerating. Good news for technology, which is highly correlated to this. And you can see here on page 6 that there are a number of large cap technology stocks that look very cheap right now. Apple, Qualcomm and Cisco, for instance. In the Global Mega Themes Fund, 3 of our key technology holdings in this area are SanDisk, Marvell Technology and Brocade Communications, all of which are cash rich and very cheap on valuation and should benefit from this increase in investment. Secondly, the oil sector. We know crude prices have come down a long way in a short space of time since the middle of June. Crude is down to $80 to $85 a barrel depending on which you look at. However, we also know that world oil demand in general has been growing for many years and in general continues to grow in line with growth in emerging markets such as India and China. The oil sector today looks cheap, whether we look at dividend yield in the US or whether we look at price to book, the chart at the top, the line in blue. So I see value in the US energy sector right now. And the names, you could look at the big guys like Chevron, Occidental or Halliburton. In our fund we have exposure to names such as Noble Corporation in drilling, Gran Tierra Energy in exploration and also Paragon Offshore in drilling. So we have a large exposure through these names and also through a couple of ETFs on natural gas and on master limited partnerships. The third area to look at is financial services. I'm focusing here on asset management, which in the long term has vastly outperformed the MSCI World Index, the line in black being the Fund Management Index. However, we can see that in recent months the net equity flows into equity mutual funds in the US have been negative, which is bad news for fund managers in the short term. But this gives the value opportunity, and here we see a number of companies that look very cheap. We have recently invested in this list in Waddell & Reed, an asset manager in the US, which has net cash and also trades on an ex-cash PE of just under 11 times, so very cheap compared to the overall S&P market index. So to summarize, technology is benefiting from investment and should benefit from a better Christmas season in demand terms. In energy we see value and we're just waiting for the crude oil price to stabilize. And in financials we're waiting for the market to go back up and for equity fund inflows to recover, and that should lead to more upside. These are the 3 themes we're playing in the Global Mega Themes Fund today. This is Edmund Shing from BCS Asset Management saying thank you and goodbye.